review this game. So the game starts with Italian opening, bishop c4, and knight f6, knight c3. So we have a very typical four knight game. So both sides divided knight at a very early stage. So in this position, I think for both sides it's hard to push the c pawn because the c6 knight and c3 knight blocking c pawn from either side. So if we want to fight against the center, so we need to push the pawn, and if the opponent taking our pawn, we will start using the knight, the f3 knight, to take the pawn instead of a c pawn. So which means for either side, it will be a bit harder to create a double center pawn, as we saw. It's the same situation for black. And so bishop to c5, and this position is quite symmetry at the center. d6, h3. Yeah, this is a very good preventive move, because after d6, black's going to pin the f3 bishop, f3 knight. So h3 is controlling g4. I like this move. Okay, h6, and in this position, both sides have the exactly same piece placement. So the king has already castled to the king side for both sides, and either side has developed three minor pieces. So the next question is, where should we attack our opponent? The position is quite balanced, to be honest. In this case, if white wants to attack on the king side, so probably I will start thinking with bishop e3. After trading the bishop, I can open up the semi-open file. My bishop and my rook can aim at f7. This could be one approach. Another approach is maybe a3 b4 to attack on the queen side. And as I said, because for example white played knight c3 very early, which means the c pawn is really hard to be pushed to c3 and therefore d4. So it's a bit hard to fight against at the center, and it's also the same position for black. Cool, bishop e3. After bishop exchange, I assume white is targeting at the king side. Maybe later we can move the other knight to the king side, or move this knight to f5. So queen to e7, knight d5, trading pieces. Okay, so I was thinking about taking the knight with the bishop, because if I take with the pawn actually blocking my light square bishop, and this is not something good for a bishop. It has fewer spaces to control. And knight a5, a6, b5. I think this couple moves is really good to attack the bishop and also expand our space at the queen side. So, well, I think the best move may be bishop to b3. So b4, the thing is, I'm not sure. Maybe after trading the pieces, I think black will be quicker than white to control the b file. And if the bishop develop to, so the thing is, if we trade the rooks, and probably e4, yeah, so if you trade, black will have a very great center queen, and there's a lot of pawns the queen can target at. So yeah, as I said, so I will move bishop to b3. I mean, in the end, we will have the bishop traded with the knight, but I think this pawn structure is better than the previous one, because the white pawn are connected, and also there is a semi-open file. The rook can attack the a6 pawn, so hopefully after b4 we can maneuver the knight to b3 and to a5, c6. Yeah, so this position I prefer if I play white. Rook b8. Okay, so after b4, so in this game, okay, so black play bishop to d7, that also makes sense. Connect the rooks. But I also am thinking, after trading the rook, pushing the pawn to e4, it's maybe even better. Okay, so in this case, I think the best move for white is play e4 to stop black pushing the pawn, and also since the majority of our pawn are at light square, so it's like building a wall, blocking the light square bishop. So e4, I think it's a best move. So yeah, so the problem with d4, black pushing the pawn, and then the knight, the only best move may be back to d2. But in this case, these pawns are really weak, and black can probably play queen g5 to attack the e3, and maybe after f5 the e4 pawn is very solid. You cannot really take e4 because after queen e3 that's a fork, and white will lose the knight. So I think black's better. Okay, knight h4 is a blunder, and the white lost the knight. Yeah, I think in this case black is going to win. Okay, so I think at the first beginning moves, both sides did great to develop pieces, but when we thinking about attacking or set up attacking play in the middle game, I think white should focus more on the pawn structure and how to avoid creating weakness. So for example, if we play e4, so we don't have e3 as a weakness, but if we have played d4, so this pawn is a weakness, and also the d5 is quite isolated. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.